Did you know laminators aren't just for preserving documents? It's also a secret weapon for crafting. From DIY bookmarks to creative home decor and personalized gifts, a laminator can really bring your ideas to life. So grab your materials and get ready to turn a simple sheet into long-lasting creations. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Justina, and here I like to make, create, and inspire fun art things with you through my DIYs. But in today's video, I am partnering up with QFun Laminator, which you can find on Amazon right now. The link will be down in my description box below and in a pinned comment. Make sure you check those out. But in today's video, I have some really fun, creative, and unique ways to use a laminator for crafting, and I had a blast making each one of those. But before we get started, if you're new here and you haven't yet subscribed, I hope you do that today. All you have to do is click on that big red subscribe button down below. It is totally free. But don't forget to click on the bell notification so YouTube can always notify you every time I upload a new video. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I do appreciate each and every one of you being here. But don't forget to do all the YouTubey things, which is like, comment, and share it to at least one friend. With that all being said, come along with me to create some of these 5-minute DIYs, and let's art today. I was recently sent this 9-in-1 thermal and cold QFun Laminator, and I was super excited to share it with you. Now, we all know that using a laminator is really good for those important documents, but I found a couple ways to use them for crafting, and I'm super excited to get my hands in this. So let's just open this box and see what it all comes with, because this is supposedly a 9-in-1 laminator, so it comes with a couple of hidden tools. When I opened the box, right on top was the lamination sheets and the user manual in this little casing right here. I placed that to the side because I needed to take the laminator out of the box. As you see here, it is nice and compact in there and well protected, which is good for delivery. I am just going to remove those little pads on the side, and I am going to save those because I'm pretty sure I can find a DIY project for that in a later video. I'm removing that little protective case, and as you see here, this is the QFun Laminator. It is very sleek and really pretty and really nicely labeled all around it. Those are the different size papers to help you out with. It does have a little plug on the back of it, and this little button right here helps you remove anything that gets stuck inside. Now, inside is a 6-in-1 storage container, which I found super unique. You just pick up this lid right here, and it comes with so many tools. This is a paper cutter for when you're done with the projects. You can trim them up to your size for the projects that you are creating. It also comes with this corner rounder, which you can make your projects have that nice rounded corner edge so it doesn't stick you. And it does also come with some of these rings. It's looks like a small, medium, and large one, which I do use on a project in today's video. It does come with this hole puncher, which is absolutely adorable, but it does work really handy, and it comes with an extra blade for your paper trimmer. What is really cool about this laminator machine is that all the tools that come with it fit right back into the machine and has its own little space for it, which is really convenient if you're a crafter like me, because you need to be really organized to get all of these crafts done in a timely manner. So as you see here, I did place that little paper trimmer in that square over there. However, it does not go there. It actually goes with the hole puncher. That way you can place your paper trimmer back in there and close it up. Again, this laminator is really easy to use. All you have to do is plug it in and hit that on button. This will automatically jump into the cold lamination setting, but you can change that by hitting the mode switch button at the top. Then it will change into the next setting, and depending on which lamination sheet you use is the one that you want to pick for your project. Now, it does come with some lamination sheets already provided with you, but I also use my own just to make sure that it is compatible with other lamination sheets. It does come with 2 manuals to help you set up your machine and to tell you the do's and don'ts of what to use. Once again, they do give you a bunch of different lamination sheets to start off with, but I was super impressed on how many different variations and sizes there were. Now that we have everything unpacked, let's get right into some of these DIYs. I really wanted to start off with something really simple, so I just went onto my computer and created a simple design so I can make easy bookmarks for my child's classroom. I sent that design right over to my printer and I printed it out on cardstock because I wanted them to be a little bit more sturdy. As you see here, it's on yellow cardstock and all of these little black hearts, which is super adorable. After I had all of my sheets printed out, I wanted to first try our little paper cutter here. Now I wanted to cut off the edges, so this is going to be a really thin cut and really test the blade to get through a thicker piece of paper. So I'm just lining up my piece of paper. There is a little slit there with any paper cutter really, and you just line it up, press down firmly, and then it did slit nicely the piece of paper. Now I'm really bad at making things really symmetrical, so it was a little bit uneven, but I got the hang of it after a while. Next, I'm cutting down my paper into the bookmark sizes that I want, which is about 2 inches to 8 inches long, and I'm just going to cut all of them down to size. And I do apologize for being out of frame. I didn't realize it until a little bit later, but I do push it up, and as you see here, I'm just trimming up the last one. After I have my bookmarks, I then wanted to try the corner rounder, and this was really fun to use, and it did cut them really nicely. I do have 2 bookmarks back to back, and this is cardstock, so it is a thicker paper, and it did cut them really good. Next, like I mentioned before, I do have my own lamination sheets, and I wanted to make sure this laminator can be used with different lamination sheets rather than the ones that are provided. So I'm just lining up my bookmark, making sure it is as center as possible, close it up, and then I'm going to feed it into the laminator, which is super smooth. I place it right into the center, and I am holding it up, but this is unnecessary. It does feed it on its own, and it holds everything really nicely. And as you see here, it's coming out on the other side. I am super impressed. This has no air bubbles whatsoever. It is pretty much crystal clear. You can see right through it. It is warm to the touch, so I do advise putting it to the side for a couple of seconds. Nothing too hot where it actually burns your hand. Now here's a quick view of it going through the machine once again, and it goes super fast. But after I was done laminating all of my bookmarks, that completes our first DIY. Here is all the laminated bookmarks that I have created. This was really easy and simple to use. I was super impressed on how clear each one of those bookmarks came out, and there was no air bubbles whatsoever. Even though this was a simple project, it was really fun to do, and it gave me inspiration to create different types of bookmarks for the future. Moving right into our next DIY, I'm going to use their lamination sheets that they provided, and I believe it's a 9x12 lamination sheet. As you see here, I have printed off another sign that says no soliciting. Ever since moving into our new home, we have been getting nonstop knocks and doorbell rings all hours of the day and night. I didn't realize how bad it was until we moved in, so I politely am asking for no soliciting by creating this sign. I did make this sign in my silhouette portrait cutting machine design space. However, you don't have to do that. You can always use Word document or Canva, whatever you like to use. Now, I've heard stories that if you don't move the lamination from the dark spots of your cutting machine, it tends to not work. So I'm going to draw a box around those spaces with a Sharpie marker, and then I will take a paper cutter and cut it out. Now, I didn't cut off the black markings that I just created, which I should have, so I did have to cover those later. So if you do the exact same thing, cut around the squares that you laid down on your sheet. This does cut really easily. All I needed to do was make sure I made a box and then pulled it off, and you have your 3 holes right there. Then I place my sign back into the sheet. Make sure to line it up the way I needed it, and to make sure that all the lamination sheet is covering all 4 sides of the paper. And then when you're ready, you can then feed it into your QFun Laminator machine. This was super easy. Once again, all I needed to do was feed it in, and then it pulls itself all the way through. Now with the sheet, I did have some excess on the top, but no need to worry, because I then took the paper cutter that it came with, and I'm going to trim it down to size. Now if you have a cutting machine, you may know that you need to cut it down to the size so that it can read the paper correctly and you can cut out your design without any issues. So I do want to mention that when cutting the lamination sheet, it cut perfectly. It cut more smoothly cutting that lamination sheet than a regular piece of paper. I then am going to send my print back into my Silhouette machine to cut it out, and here's how it looks. Now to really make this sign pop, I did want to create a little backing for it. So I have this extra piece of Dollar Tree sign that I'm just going to use to place my sign on top of it. I took a ruler and a Sharpie marker, and I started making these lines because I wanted this to look like a wooden board behind my sign. Now I did print my sign on a bright orange piece of paper. That way it really stands out. So I know it really doesn't match. However, I wanted mine to be bright and vibrant. That way you can see it way before you reach my door. So hopefully the solicitation will stop. Now, as you see here, I just continue adding those lines all across my board, and then I will start painting my sign. I go in with my Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint in the color Java and also Vintage Yellow, and start mixing the two together to make a faux wooden board. I will continue painting until the whole board is covered and looks like a bunch of wooden slats together. Now for added detail, I have some of these push pins in my crafting stash. I did have to cut some of it down using my shears. That way it can look like little nails on all 4 of my corners, and I'm just using hot glue to attach it down. Last thing I needed to do was attach my sign to the board. Once again, I am just using my hot glue gun to attach the two together, but when it starts to warm up, I will change that out for maybe a stronger glue. But for right now, this completes our second DIY. Here is how my sign turned out, and I absolutely love it. I also love the fact that the paper won't get damaged with any type of weather because it is laminated. Did add a backing to the back of it and a little ribbon just so that I can display it, but I really loved how this one turned out. For this DIY, I made a game that is particularly familiar as Yahtzee, but I wanted to make a big one that says Yahtzee. I've been seeing these on Pinterest, and I really wanted to create one for my family. This was actually a birthday gift for someone, so I made a larger version. Here's the comparison of the regular game compared to the one for outside. I absolutely love it. Now I did create that on Canva, and then I printed it out. Now I wanted each one of those Yahtzee cards to have a border of a different color. That way when we're all playing as a family, each one of us can have a unique color, and it just brightens it up and makes it really fun. I needed to trim down my paper, and once again I am using that paper trimmer to cut it down to size. After I have the size that I like, I then placed it back on that purple backing sheet, and then I wanted to tape it into place so that it didn't move. Now I'm putting the tape on the back of the white piece of paper so that you won't be able to see it. However, this is really not necessary. You can do this without the tape because the lamination sheet does hold it into place, but I wanted to make absolutely sure it did not move. Next, I'm taking that corner rounder paper cutter and I'm cutting the edges of the purple paper just to give it a fun and sleek look. And then it's time to place it into the lamination sheet. I am using the bigger ones, which I believe is a 9 by 12, and I'm placing it in. Now, you do want to make sure when you're placing your sheet into the lamination that you wipe it off to make sure there is no dust or hair into it. I realized that I had a couple pieces of dust in a few of mine, but nonetheless, it doesn't affect the game whatsoever. After I have it placed in the lamination sheet perfectly, I'm just going to feed it into the laminator. Once again, it only takes a few seconds for it to go through the whole process of laminating, and then you do want to place it to the side for a quick couple of seconds. That way it had time to completely cool, and that way you can add the rest of your game into the lamination. Here's how it looks, and I did make 5 more. Once again, I have 1 of each color in there. That's because we are a family of 6 when we're all together, and everyone has their unique color. Now, this is perfect for a dry erase marker. As you see here, I'm just making up fictitious numbers, and yes, I won the game. I'm so awesome. But as you see here, I wrote it down, and you can just pretty much use your finger to erase it, but it does work better with a dry cloth, and you can replay this game as many times as you like. Now, a good way to store this game and to keep everything in one place, I am going to hole punch each of those cards at the top using the hole puncher that it comes with. Once again, this worked really well, and as you see here, it makes a perfect hole. After I punched out all of the other cards, I then took one of those binding rings, opened it up, and then I get to place each one of the cards onto that binding ring. That way you don't have to lose any cards. There's a place for it. It is nice and organized, and it's easy to store. You can hang it up on a little pin, or you can put it in a drawer. That way everything is together. Now, you can't play Yahtzee without any dice, so I went to Dollar Tree and found these wooden dice there, and 3 come in a package, so you're going to need 2 packages because you need 5 dice to play this game. I'm just going to remove the dice, and I'm going to use my wood burning tool. You don't have to use this tool if you do not want to. You can always paint on the little dice numbers, but I'm going to burn it in with my little burning tool here. It only takes a few minutes for it to make a burn mark, as you see here, and it just looks so nice and unique. I will continue burning all of the numbers on each one of those dice and making sure to switch it up so that when you roll the dice, you won't get the same numbers. Now, once again, if you do burn your dice, please remember to take all the safety precautions when doing this DIY. I had my window open, I was very safe, and I did have somewhere to put that really hot iron off to the side. Here is all of my numbers burned in, and it looks so nice. Now, you can always finish it off by staining and sealing it, but I did not, and that completes this DIY. Here is how the Yahtzee game turned out, and the last thing that needed to be done was to actually play, and it was a blast. Alright friends, here is a quick overview of all the DIYs that I have created in today's video. Once again, I had a blast making each and every one of these, but I have to say, hands down, my favorite DIY in today's video would have to be the Yahtzee game that I've created on Canva. It was super fun to make, but even more fun to actually play with the family, and we had lots of laughs. I would love to know which one was your favorite DIY down in the comment section below, and while you're down there, don't forget to check out the link that is in the description box and in the pinned comment so that you can check out this laminator for yourself. I do have to admit that after using the QFun Laminator, it is a must-have for both practical and creative projects, whether you're preserving important documents or making some fun DIYs like I did in today's video. It is something worthy for your crafting space. So if you're looking looking for affordable and reliable laminator, the QFun is definitely worth considering, and I really had a blast using it to make some of these unique DIYs. Now, once again, check out in the description box below to catch the link so that you can check out this QFun laminator yourself. I really hope you enjoyed today's DIYs, friends. I really had a blast making each and every one of these, and I really hope you enjoy them as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.